Hello, Pisces. Thank you so much, you guys, as always, for being here. Okay, Pisces, so looking at your third week of November, you pulled Anti-Hero, Guardian Angel, and Queen of My World. What I got from this is that the world needs you right now. You're like the trendsetter. Your unique personality and perspective breaks conformity, and that is what the world needs right now. That's what this one is talking about. Guardian Angel, though, is you looking for reassurance or protection. It's like asking your guardian angels or the universe, right? Is this something that I should do if it's been rejected by others before? But it doesn't affect your spirit, and that's what I love about this. So, Queen of My World. It says, I set the limits to my world. Inside I am queen and outside is lost. So it almost may feel like, what is the point of being of service to others and showing them to how to break out of, the conformity in all of the garbage that's being programmed to everybody, right? It's like you see past that and you know how to break past that, and your perspective is needed, but why should you bother? It's like everybody else is lost. Why should I give a part of myself in that way in service to others, is what it feels like. But guardian angel is like there's this reassurance that's kind of coming through in this protection for you. So the sentence for Queen of My World says, I am my world and my world is me. I am royalty. So what I like about this is that there is a healthy sense of ego, right? Like, you are aware of your ability to see things very differently than other people who are constantly thinking inside the box, right? You can facilitate change in others that may be necessary, especially now. But that part of you may have been rejected or diminished in some way, where with Queen of My World, you're like, yeah, that's not my problem anymore. But it's like the universe is saying that, yeah, Pisces energy is needed right now. Your perspective, your unique personality is what everybody needs to see. So it may be this kind of like reassurance that it's okay for you to go ahead and put yourself out there. And the other thing with Queen of My World too is it's a really good indicator that you're very aware of what you let into your inner world. And any kind of negative influence is not something that you're willing to take on, which is great. But there's something about your ability to break the rules that's needed for everybody else. And I love that the message is coming through for you, especially with Neptune being at home right now. You're overall the Nine of Coins, so independence, right? Enjoying what you have, enjoying what you've worked for, having a sense of security. But you are the one that is creating this. And a lot of times for me, with the Nine of Pentacles being the overall, it's like I'm remaining independent from another situation. I don't have to be dependent on anyone or anything. So we'll see how this is playing out. But I like this because this to me is like the vacation card, right? You've worked hard and you've gained a lot, and it's time to be able to enjoy that. In the past, temperance, and I've seen this for somebody else, I can't remember now, but temperance in the past indicates to me immediately that whatever you were dealing with, it required a sense of patience and balance from you. So whatever you were dealing with, there's this feeling of needing to maintain this inner balance in keeping yourself separate from what may be going on or what may have happened. But we'll see how this patience is coming through. Okay, so in the present, the Knight of Swords, right? You go from this, I'm not going to allow anything to affect me in any kind of a way or cause any kind of imbalance within me. And then you move into the Knight of Swords where you're like, yep, had enough, going to say what I need to say. But this is abrupt, right? And I always look at this one and think the words that cut. So you may be expressing some pain that you may have experienced. And, in looking at your oracle cards, it makes me think that this may be the perspective that's needed, is somebody who speaks honestly and truthfully about the pain and suffering that they've experienced. And that's coming from a place of temperance where you have learned to maintain balance within you, despite what may be going on in your outer world, right? But this ultimately could be something that leads to a sense of financial independence as well. Interesting. Okay. Future conditions, and I love this for you, the King of Cups. Now, absolutely, we could be talking about a person here, but I think that for you, this is, first of all, coming from a place of emotional maturity, which you're already showing with temperance. But this is coming from a place of love and understanding. So this kind of like direct communication about things that you have experienced, I think, is leading you to more self-awareness of what is going on with you emotionally. But this may help facilitate emotional maturity in another. I love the message that's coming through here. I feel like, Pisces, you're being given a mission right now. There are some things that you could be saying that could change the direction of somebody's life. And you get to enjoy the abundance from that, which is beautiful. Your best path to follow, the King of Wands. So you've got this maturity coming through here. And with the King of Wands, this is about being able to show others how to follow their own passions. There is information that may be hard for people to hear, and I say that because of the Knight of Swords, but it may be something that you need to speak about in order to facilitate some emotional maturity in somebody else and get them to kind of like see how they can follow their passions. The King of Wands is like, I've already been there and done that. This is what you're passionate about. Let me show you how to get there. And this is all about you seeking new adventures too. But this is about what you have learned, what you have gained. Now, on the other hand here, it may be that you're removing yourself from a situation where it's required a lot of patience and inner balance from you, but you're doing it ultimately for your own emotional well-being. It's like what you've experienced has led you to this kind of maturity. And it's because of that the wisdom that's gained is going to open the door for you to take other adventures. It's like, I have experience with that now. Let me start focusing on what my passion is and start making that happen. But it's coming from a place where there's this harsh, direct communication, right? In your environment, the Two of Wands, the decision to act. So for some of you, you may be immediately making the choice to act towards something that you have a passion for. But I think the advice here is, again, doing it from a place of wisdom and understanding. You're reaching this kind of like emotional maturity, or you're facilitating that in another. Because you're the independent one here. It's not about how somebody else is influencing you, because that's already happened looking at temperance. The influences that you've had to experience before have created this ability to maintain balance within you, and you're being called to bring that in now. And there may be this choice now to communicate something that may be difficult for somebody else to hear. But right? Like, I go back to Guardian Angel and I'm looking at this and going, and Queen of my world, right? You hold the world in your hands. What choices are you going to make to create that? And the King of Wands is like, you know this. You've got this. You've done this. You've experienced this. And if you haven't, it may be that we're talking about somebody else that kind of helps you make that choice. But I feel more so that this is about you and the wisdom that you have gained through the experiences that you've had. And you're like, I'm good. And whatever this is, the experience that's gained could gain also this financial security for you too. Like, I very much feel like this may be something you've been waiting to act on. And then there's this like immediate abrupt action. But there's also this kind of like needing to say something that may be hard for somebody else to hear. Your hopes and your fears, the Fool, right? Like, having faith in a new adventure, a new you, being able to kind of just jump all into something. But this is wanting to wipe the slate clean though too. And that may be where this Knight of Swords is coming through, and you finally making the choice, and it may be abrupt. But for your own emotional well-being, it may be something that has to happen because you're looking for a new experience. And again, right, with the King of Wands, it's, this. And this could create an entirely new life for you, and that may be what you're hoping for. Being able to jump into something without worrying about any kind of consequences, because that's like overthinking. But I'm looking at this and I feel like for you, what you're hoping for is to have a completely new life, a completely new experience. And faith, right? Having faith in it. And then the Two of Cups coming out, and then you have the King of Cups. Whatever action that you are deciding to take here, even if it is abrupt and there are words that are spoken that may be hard to hear, there may be a connection that's being made here. And it's not something where there's any kind of emotional dependency because of these two. We're talking about emotional maturity being gained, a sense of independence and well-being, but it leading to this kind of connection with somebody who understands you. And this may be the reassurance though coming through too, right? Like, it's like saying to the universe, look, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Like, I got you. I understand what you're trying to show me right now, right? Like, I'm going to direct my passion in the right way. I'm coming from this place of emotional maturity, but hey, I'd like to have some assistance in this. And, this connection is made out of this. And this, again, it may be something that you've been waiting for. You may have been holding back from saying something. But coming from a place of well-being and independence, I think facilitates, the emotional maturity and the passion that you need to direct this action in the right way. Like, I want to have this new experience. And maybe you are wanting to have this connection with somebody who also understands how you feel, right? But is not dependent on you emotionally. There's a feeling of a relationship coming through where you have independence. The Emperor. The Nine of Wands, okay. And then the Six of Coins. So what I want to say here is, if we're looking at a new relationship that is coming from a place of emotional maturity, and you no longer having to be in codependent situations, and this may be something that you've been waiting for, the choice to act is going to come in. And the Emperor with Temperance, patience and balance was required for you to gain control over what was going on in your life. And this may be you needing to say to someone also that, look, right, I'm not trying to control you. You shouldn't be trying to control me. And that is where this kind of like understanding is coming through. But this is also, having the patience to deal with whatever was going on in the past, gaining back control. And then you have the Nine of Wands, and I'm looking at the Knight of Swords with the Two of Wands, and I'm thinking that this may be you needing to make sure that if you make this choice and you act toward this, especially if this has to do with a relationship or a partnership, whatever that relationship may be, this is like, let me be clear about what my boundaries are. Because these are the things that I went through, and I am going to protect what is important to me. And then you have the Six of Coins, where there's this equal give and take, an equal understanding within a partnership and a relationship. You know, and again, there's this kind of feeling of you being able to talk about your experiences and taking action in a very passionate way that's going to lead to a new direction in your life, where I think that there is going to be this kind of like financial security coming through, but a connection may be made, or a business partnership for some of you. But for those of you who have been waiting for that kind of connection with somebody who understands you, that is very much a possibility coming out. But it's ultimately up to you to make the choice to act here. But, you know, in doing so, I think it's important that you kind of like lay out the boundaries, right? But it's a beautiful reading. And this may be something that you've been patiently waiting for. And it's like, I don't want to get involved in relationships that force me to conform to something that I don't want to be. And again, you know, I kind of go back to the Emperor with the control that may have happened for you in relationships before. But this could also be you having now this sense of security and independence, where you're able to follow passions, where you have gained experience, but you're doing it again from a place of, I got this, I know this, I've experienced this. And this absolutely could be, you know, like I said, with the King of Cups, somebody who completely understands emotionally where you are coming from. And it may be the better reflection of you that you are wanting to see. Wow, man. Celebration, perfect, right? And I look at that Nine of Pentacles and think, you know, go have a good time. Inner power, yep. And then passion. It's beautiful. So celebration of your inner power and what you have gained through your experiences is going to lead to you being able to experience more passion. And with the King of Wands, it's perfect. I think for those of you who are wanting a relationship right now, what you're trying to attract is a better reflection of yourself, but also somebody who is equally independent in who they are. They have their own passions, their own desires, but there's this equal understanding and like support for that. I like it. I like having good readings like this. Thank you, Pisces. And you may have gone through some really hard things in relationships before. And it may be that the world needs your perspective. You know, all human experience matters, period. And all we can do is relate to the experiences we have based on ourselves and what is going on within our own inner world, right? But I feel like it's something that is needed. People need to hear it. Show the world the real you. And then you have faith in your dreams. And that, I feel like, is where Guardian Angel is coming through. I really love this message, Pisces. And I really think that your experiences that you have had within partnerships and relationships is going to open the door for you to have a better reflection of yourself coming through, something more loving and supportive, where you're not in codependent relationships. But I also feel like for those of you who have dealt with relationships like that, whether it's been, you know, controlling emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse, your experience may be what the world needs to hear right now. And it actually may help a lot of people become the queen of their own inner world.